Zoroastrianism, the Religion of the Good Life, Part 2, Ritual, Chapter 1, Socio-Religious Ceremonies, Birth Ceremony. I prefer, says Ahura Mazda in the Vendidad, a person with children to one without children. Even the soul feels happy where a man with children lives. The conviction makes the advent of a child doubly welcome in a Zoroastrian home. We do not find in the Avesta any reference to pregnancy rites. In the latter Pahlavi and Persian books, however, we find references to certain rites. For instance, the Sayast, La Sayast, directs that during the days of pregnancy, a fire may be maintained most carefully in the house. According to the Vendidad, the place for delivery must be very clean, dry, and at least frequented by others. After delivery, the mother should avoid contact with fire, water, and the beresman, i.e. the sacred ceremonial apparatus of the home. It enjoins a period of 12 days for such isolation in the case of a stillborn child. Well, reducing the ritual requirements for a pregnant woman can certainly be important, but let's not overstep the restrictions. Marriage ceremonies. After prolonged contact with the Hindus of India, the present-day followers of Zarathustra have adopted several Hindu marriage customs and ceremonies, but the strictly religious part of the ceremony, as performed by the officiating priest, is more or less orthodox Iranian, and is conducted mainly in the latter Pazand language. It consists of preliminary benedictions, questions to the marrying couple and the witnesses on either side, 3 joint address by 2 officiating priests, and I do have a video in terms of the Islamic conditions of marriage that I have posted 10 months ago. Was it 10 months ago? Something like that. The senior priest blesses the couple in these words: "May the Creator, the omniscient Lord, grant you a progeny of sons and grandsons and plenty of means to provide yourselves. Abiding love, bodily strength, long life for 150 years. Thrice during the course of the benediction, a declaration of the witnesses and of the bride and bridegroom is taken by the priest. The witness on behalf of the bridegroom's family is first asked, in the presence of this assembly that has met together in the city of, on, day of, month, of the year, of the era, of the emperor Yazdagerd, of the Sasanian dynasty, of the auspicious Iran, say whether you have agreed to take this maiden by name in marriage for this bridegroom in accordance with the rights and rules of the Mazda Yasnans, promising to pay her 2,000 dirhams of pure white silver and 2 dinars of real gold of the Nishapur coinage." Well, I'm sure the actual amounts have, vary. "I have agreed," replies the witness. Then the following question is put to the other witness: Have you and your family with a righteous mind and truthful thoughts, words, and actions, and for the increase of righteousness, agreed to give forever this bride in marriage to? He replies, "We have agreed." The priest then asks the couple, "Have you agreed to enter into this contract of marriage till the last day of your life with a righteous mind?" Both reply, "We have agreed." Then follows the recital of the Pavandan Amma, or Ashirwad, an address replete with benedictions, admonitions, and prayers by the two officiating priests who keep showering on the couple grains of rice as an emblem of happiness and plenty. The Ashirwad is not merely a benedictory address, it is also a little sermon which closes with a short prayer. Likewise, the admonitionary part of it is not merely a homily, exhorting the bride and the bridegroom to cultivate good qualities, to do good, and to shun evil. It is also a discourse for the entire assembly on worldly wisdom and a key to success in life. As an illustration, the following extracts may be noted. Do not quarrel with the revengeful. Never be a partaker with an adverse man. Do not be a comrade of a backbiter. Do not join the company of persons of ill fame. Do not cooperate with the ill-informed. Do not enter into any discussion with persons of bad report. Speak in an assembly after mature consideration. Speak with moderation in the presence of kings. O ye good men, says the fishing priest, may good accrue to you as the result of perfect good thoughts, perfect good words, and perfect good deeds. May that piety come to you, which is the best of all good. May not sinful life, which is the worst of all evil, come to you. Righteousness is the best gift, and happiness to him who is righteous for the sake of the best righteousness. In the concluding paragraph of the Ashirwad, the married couple is blessed in these terms. May they have light and glory, physical strength, physical health, and physical success, wealth that may bring with it much happiness, children blessed with innate wisdom, a very long life, and the blissful paradise which is due to the pious. May it be so as I wish it. Final ceremony. Okay, before I get into funeral ceremonies, remember that's very important intention with marriage, that it's, lifelong, not, I could be married to her for a couple months or a couple years, and after that, I think I'm going to have to get divorced. No, don't get into it if you're thinking like that, but you may only have plans of the first couple years, but not plans to be divorced. No. Funeral ceremonies. It will be convenient to treat the funeral ceremonies and observances under the following two heads: ceremonies relating to the disposal of the dead, ceremonies relating to the soul. Disposal of the dead. To maintain fire, air, water, and earth pure and undefiled is a cardinal principle of the Zoroastrian creed. It is enjoined that the body of a person, after the soul has left it, should, with due respect to the deceased, be disposed of in such a manner as to not defile these elements or to injure the living. According to the followers of the creed, do not burn or bury their dead. Well, I'm sure the not burying is something that came later, and there's some proof of that. They picked it up from the Hindus and stuff, it appears. That do that. There's a wide variety of things among the Hindus. Or consign them to the water. Again, a horrible idea with the body. Let's throw it in the well or in the river. It's like, they merely expose the dead on the top of a high hill to the heat of the sun, there to be devoured by carnivorous birds, which sometimes spread the body parts throughout things. Their funeral ceremonies are likewise based on the ancient Zoroastrian ideas of sanitation, segregation, and purification. All these ceremonies of this order appear to have anticipated the prophylactic measures taken in modern times for the prevention of epidemics, namely breaking the contact of the living with the real or supposed center of infection, and destroying such a center itself. occasionally people are mistaken for dead. If you hand a dying person over to the beast, just like burning them or throwing them in water, it's, just clean up the body, bury it. As a matter of precaution, all cases of death are treated as infectious, and the followers of the faith are warned that they should bring themselves as little as possible into contact with dead bodies. Soon after death, the corpse is washed, and a clean suit of clothes is put over it. The kusti, or the sacred thread, is then put around the body with a prayer. The corpse is placed on the ground in a corner of the front room on large slabs of stone, or impermeable, hard, dry clods of earth. The hands are folded upon the chest crosswise. After the corpse is placed on slabs of stone, one of the two professional corpse bearers to whom the body is entrusted draws round it 3 caches or circles with a metallic bar or nail, thus reserving temporarily the marked spot of ground for the corpse, so as to prevent the living from going near it and catching infection. Just like someone's prayer space, you got to be careful not to cross into things, right? The dead body is then shown to a dog with 2 eye-like spots just above the eyes. Cult of Set and Anubis, that's, well, certainly they could have had ideas like that develop among themselves. It is believed that this particular kind of spotted, Chathru Chasma, literally the 4-eyed, dog, has the faculty to detect whether life in the body is extinct or not. It is expected to stare steadily at the body if life is extinct, but not even to look at it if otherwise. Fire is then brought into the room in a vase, and is kept burning with fragrant sandalwood and frankincense. Before the fire sits a priest who recites the Avestan text till the time of the removal of the corpse to the tower, and keeps the fire burning. The corpse may be removed to the tower at any time during the day, but not at night, as the body must be exposed to the sun. About an hour before the time fixed for the removal of the body to the tower, 2 are, if the body is heavier, 4 Nassas alars, i.e. court bearers, I'm not sure which S I'm supposed to pronounce, clothed completely in white, enter the house. In the case of a death due to infectious disease, all exposed parts of the body, except the face, are covered up, so as to prevent infection through any uncovered part. They carry a bier called gahan, invariably made of iron, to remove the body, wood being porous and therefore likely to carry and spread germs of disease and infection. Its use is strictly prohibited in the funeral ceremonies. Now remember how many other traditions, like for example the Islamic tradition, also have this idea that the funerary prayers are only the afternoon prayers, and then they bury it before sunset. The corpse bearers place the bier by the side of the corpse. They then recite, in a suppressed tone, the following formula of grace, and remain silent up at the time of the final disposal of the corpse in the Tower of Silence. According to the dictates of Ahura Mazda, according to the dictates of the Ameshaspenta, according to the dictates of the holy Sraasha, according to the dictates of the Adarban Maraspand, and according to the dictates of the Dastur of the age. They sit silent by the side of the corpse. If there is any occasion on which they must break silence, they do so in a subdued tone, without the opening of the lips. Then follows the Geh Sarna ceremony, i.e., the recital of the Gathas, which is intended to be an admonition to the survivors to bear with fortitude the loss of the deceased. After this, the corpse is again shown to the dog. The relatives and friends who have by this time assembled at the house, then have a last look of the deceased. After the Ge-sarna ceremony, the mourners pass, one by one, before the corpse to have a last look and a bow before it as a mark of respect. Now, in the funeral prayers that I go to, we don't bow before the corpses. I don't believe in the showing of the dead. We trust the people that have verified the bodies being dead. And the funeral ceremony is quick enough that people can get on with their life. They don't have to take the whole day off. Just, quick couple-minute funeral prayer. The corpse bearers then cover the face with a piece of cloth and secure the body to the bier with a few straps of cloth. They carry the bier out of the house and entrust it to the kandyas, another set of corpse bearers, whose business it is to carry the bier on their shoulders to the tower. When the bier reaches the tower, it is put on the ground outside. The corpse bearers uncover the face, and those who have accompanied the funeral procession pay their respects and have a last look from a distance of at least 3 paces. After the dead body is once more exposed to the sight of the four-eyed dog for the last time, the gate of the tower is opened. The Nassasalars, who took the corpse out of the house and who have accompanied the corpse to the last resting place, now take over the bier from the carriers and take it unto the tower, and place the dead body on the space set apart for it. They then tear off the clothes from the body of the deceased and leave it on the floor of the tower. Naked one comes into the world, naked one leaves it. The body is exposed and left uncovered, so that the eye of the flesh-devouring birds may be drawn to it. The sooner it is eaten up, and the fewer the chances of further decomposition, and the greater safety of the living. The clothes removed from the corpse are thrown in a pit outside the tower, where they are destroyed by the combined action of heat, air, and rain. In Bombay, they are destroyed with sulfuric acid. On completing their work, the corpse bearers lock the tower. Thereupon, an attendant claps his hands as a signal to all those who have accompanied the funeral procession, and who have by this time taken their seats at some distance from the tower. They all get up from their seats and recite the rest of the Sraash Baj prayer, of which, before joining the procession, they had recited only a part. This is followed by a short prayer in which they say, "We repent of all our sins, our respect to you. We remember here the souls of the dead, who are the spirits of the holy." The Tower of Silence. O holy creator of the material world, where are we to carry the bodies of the dead? O Ahura Mazda, where are we to place them? Acts Zarathustra and the Vendadad. Ahura Mazda replies, O Spitama Zarathustra, on the most elevated place. Now, if a body is buried, the lower places could be consumed by water. Well, in some areas anyways. In the earliest times, corpses were exposed on the summits of high mountains without any enclosure. When the bones were denuded of flesh by dogs, vultures, and other carnivorous birds, and rendered absolutely dry and desiccated in the course of a year, they were removed and preserved in astodons, that is, receptacles for the preservation of bones, the stone urns referred to by classical authors. The astodons were made of stone, mortar, or any other durable substance capable of withstanding infection, as the means of the relatives of the deceased permitted. Okay, see, it was almost, obviously this would lead to shrines of the dead. The existing towers of silence are so constructed as to secure the ready disposal of the flesh, and the preservation of the bones, and it is recognized the modern method is superior to the ancient, inasmuch as it does not involve defilement of a large area of ground, and recognizes no distinction between the rich and the poor. All bones are disposed of in the same well, establishing equality of all in death. The best example of the modern method is to be seen in the Bombay Tower of Silence. It is a round, massive structure, built entirely of solid stone. A few steps from the ground lead to an iron gate, which opens on a circular platform of solid stone with a circular well in the center. The circular platform inside the tower, about 300 feet in circumference, is paved with large stone slabs, well cemented and divided into 3 rows of shallow, open receptacles, corresponding to the triad good thought, good word, good deed. The first row is used for corpses of men, the second for corpses of women, the third for corpses of children. There are footpaths for corpse bearers to move about. A deep central well, bandar, in the tower, about 150 feet in circumference, the sides and bottoms of which are also paved with stone slabs, also for depositing the dry bones. The corpse is completely stripped of its flesh by vultures within an hour or two, and the bones of the denuded skeleton, when perfectly dried up by atmospheric influences and the powerful heat